Hey, are you unknowingly sabotaging all the important relationships at your church and potentially damaging the ministry? Too many next-gen leaders think that they're doing all the right things, but then they end up isolated and frustrated and feeling left out. Well, don't let that be you. In this episode, I'll share the 10 commandments for next-gen leaders that'll keep you winning in ministry, and one or more of them, honestly, it might just save your job. So let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome to the Brent Parsley Next Gen Leader Podcast. My name is Brent, and I hope that today's episode helps you win in Next Gen ministry. I want to help you with the how of Next Gen ministry so that you can do all the stuff that matters most. So far, as I'm finding my footing on this podcast journey, I've been working on kind of the big foundational ideas that I've found helpful throughout the years. And I believe these are the things that are essential to effective and healthy next-gen ministry. And I'm hoping that that's been helpful for you. So let's continue that today, and we're going to talk about the 10 commandments for next-gen leaders. Of course, these haven't been handed down from Sinai. They didn't come out of a cloud, but they have been tested, and they've been proven effective, and so really, really helpful. Now, I'm sure that there are other commandments that are out there. You probably have some for yourself, and actually, I'd love to hear them. So drop a comment, let me know what you think should be on this list. But I'm going to exclude today kind of the ideas like, well, putting Jesus first, because I assume we know that. Like, I'm assuming today that that's where we all start, and that's more like the greatest commandment anyway, right? These commandments, they do sort of fall in the commandment that's like the greatest commandment, like love your neighbor as yourself. So because most of these 10 commandments, they have to do with our relationships. Relationships are the conduit through which all ministry flows. Like that's just the plan, that's how it works. So relationships are of the utmost importance. And if the senior pastor, next gen, kid student pastor, and worship pastor relationships, if those all work within the church, well, your church has great opportunities to be able to grow. Sometimes the personal issues between the lead pastor and the youth pastor, kids pastor, end up getting in the way. Well, I think that these 10 commandments can help you work on that to make sure that that doesn't happen for you in the relationships at your church. And since there's 10, I think we're going to do them in 2 episodes, so make sure to check the next one out when it comes out. So here we go, the 10 commandments for next-gen pastors. Commandment number 1, be a team player. Your lead pastor, he wants you to be on his team, right? He hired you, most likely, and he wants you to participate with him and where he's going and the vision that he has for the church. He doesn't want you to be a renegade. He doesn't want you to be a lone wolf student pastor out there with your own agenda or kids pastor doing your own thing. He wants you to be on the team. He wants you to support the vision that God has given him. He wants you to rally around the church's initiatives and you put your shoulder into the church and lead the church, pull the church from your seat. He wants you to care about all the other departments and the stuff that they're doing. He doesn't want you to just to fill up the calendar with all your stuff, but he wants you to care about everybody else's calendars and all the events that they've got going on too. So in most cases, he really, I think, does want to work with you. Now, it may not seem like it all the time, but I think that he does. I think really, it's really rare cases where the lead pastor doesn't want a good working relationship with the student pastor. Maybe they don't always know how to go about it, but I think that they want it. But here's the thing. All relationships breathe. Relationships don't stay static. They don't just stay where they are. Relationships are either moving closer or they're moving farther apart. And most of the time, they do both to varying degrees. So at times, you got to know with your lead pastor, you'll be close and it'll be great. You're going to hang out, you're going to go eat, you'll go over to the house, you'll have opportunity to speak into stuff and tell what you think. Like, it'll be great. Other times, you might feel a little distant. Well, he's not texting me. I haven't seen him in a while. He canceled our meeting. I don't know what's going on. I wonder what's wrong. What did I do wrong? Well, if you've decided to be a team player and you're working hard in your role, chances are nothing's wrong. He's just in a busy season and his schedule is really full right now. So if you realize that relationships breathe, you won't freak out. You won't get overly nervous. You can just stay steady. You can be a team player and you can do your part. So the idea here is let him set the mode. Let him lead the relationship. You stay steady. You do your job. Hang out when he returns. Being a team player also means watching out for all the other staff members too. Like, watch one another's backs. Fight for them when things get crazy, when things get tough. Most of you know Psalm 133, how good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. It's like the precious oil poured on the head, running down on the beard, running down on Aaron's beard, down on the collar of his robe. It is as if the dew of Hermon were falling on Mount Zion, for there the Lord bestows his blessing, even life forevermore. Unity is where God's blessing is. So come out of your office if you have one. Connect with the team. Ask how they're doing. Lend a hand in the kids department. Check in on the small group person. Get the worship team an iced coffee and make their day. If you do this kind of stuff, you may just find yourself an extremely valuable employee to the church. And last thing on this, plan on being there for a long time. I've already talked about this some, but we're not going to spend a lot of time, but you can't work on the terms of a prearranged divorce. Like, it doesn't work that way. So just decide to stay put. It's really hard to work together when you know somebody's looking for the door out or looking for another position or another role. It's like trying to be married knowing that a divorce is around the corner, and it doesn't work. If you decide to stay, everyone's going to know you're a team player. That's really good. All right, commandment number 2, be a model that's worth following. You may not realize it, but your pastor wants people who look and act like you. Said more clearly, he wants you to be the kind of person that kids and students want to emulate and that parents would be pleased for them to emulate. Here's a big idea and a powerful truth. Next Gen Ministry, it is mostly about modeling. It's not mostly about services and events and camps. It's not mostly about small groups. It's really mostly about being the kind of person that is worth following. Like Paul said to Timothy, follow me as I follow Christ. I'm following Jesus to the best of my ability so you can safely follow me as I do that. So be the person that you want your kids and students to be. They're always watching you. You already know that. And you already know that they can sniff it out if you're being fake or when your life doesn't measure up to what you're saying. So be a great model that they can follow. That means stuff like have a great attitude every time you show up to something. Here's the thing, you do get to choose that every morning. Just decide when you wake up who you're going to be that day, and you're going to have a good attitude. Open up the scriptures, spend time with Jesus, invite the Holy Spirit to fill you and guide you and make you more like God. And then go into your workday. Then go into your evening meeting, then go into your campus visit, then go to your planning meeting, then go to your coffee appointment with that kid. You teach what you know and you reproduce who you are. I don't know about you, but that idea scares the mess out of me. So make sure what you're creating is a good thing. In every area of your life, it's true, in some cases we get like the faith part right, but we miss out on some of the other important areas of our life. So we pray consistently, and that's most important, but then we're just always late to everything. We know the Bible and our theology is kind of getting in order, but we're consistently late on our assignments, or we got a bad attitude, or we're mean to our spouse, or something simple like our car is just a steaming heap of trash and nobody can even fit in the back seat. This is nasty. You get it. So don't just be a model spiritually, but be a model physically. Be a model emotionally. Be a model relationally. Be a model hygienically, for crying out loud. Be somebody that your pastor and that every parent would say, I want my kid to be like them. And if that's tough, enlist other people to hold you accountable. Get some therapy. Go exercise. Ask God for help. You can do it. Commandment number 3, be well informed. I'll be honest, I struggled a little bit with this when I got started. I felt like everybody on our staff was so smart and they knew all these things, and I just felt like I was behind and I felt a little insecure. I mean, here's the deal. You're expected to know all about adolescence and how to counsel parents, but I was 25 and I didn't have any kids yet. What did I know? Turns out I actually did believe that I knew a lot of stuff, and I did not. But I felt this immense pressure to perform. Like, just don't feel that. It's not helpful. But do start working on being well informed so that you can end up being helpful. One way to do that is simply to read a minimum of 1 book a month. Make a list of some books on theology, adolescent development, church history, psychology, counseling, all those kinds of things, and get through at least 1 a month. And you'll be surprised at what happens and how all the info that you're reading, no matter the subject, it just starts to come out in your everyday life when you're talking to somebody, when you're at an appointment, even when you're not expecting it. I recommend alternating secular books and Christian books each month. Don't just read the latest and greatest book from your favorite megachurch pastor. Nothing wrong with that, but it should not be your whole diet. Read works of theology. Read the church fathers. Read the dead people. Read some of the latest scientific research on Gen Z and Gen Alpha and know how their brains work. Read about screen addiction. Read about issues that families are facing. Get well informed so that you can begin to help not just kids and students, but you can help families as well. Parents are looking to you for help and for advice, so be able to give it to them. Start to be an expert on adolescent development. You don't have to know it all, you can't know it all, and it's actually really okay to admit when you don't know it all. But start the journey and grow so that as you get older, you're gonna know and you can be great help to them. Remember, you're an extension of your pastor's ministry, and you don't want to send every parent with a problem to him. Hey, pastor, can you help me out with these guys? No, learn and grow, be well informed, and make his ministry stronger as you help families in the church. You'll do great. All right, commandment number 4, handle families in the church wisely. This is kind of connected to number 3. I don't know about you, but I certainly went through a period where I essentially believed that parents were the enemy. Now, I was young and foolish. I was like, hey, you guys send us your kids. We're going to get them fixed up, and then we'll have to send them back to you, and you'll screw them up again. That was not a helpful ideology. Now, it's true. Some situations are really difficult. Some are really troubling. Some require a lot of extra care. But overall, parents do want the best for their kids. Many of them just aren't sure what to do. So here's what we have to do. We got to believe in them, and we got to offer help. Parents have to matter most. You know, there's been a big shift over the last decade or so that's really been awesome to see. But all the research says that parents are still the number one influence in their kids' lives. We're realizing it. More and more ministries are doing it. It's awesome. Much of the reason why they are the number one influence, it just has to do with time. The average church has around 40 hours per year to spend with kids and students. That means they're coming to services, they're not coming every week, they're being a part, but this is really all we've got, about 40 hours per year to spend with them. But parents have around 3,000 hours per year to spend intentionally influencing their kids' lives. We have got to continue to improve how we provide support for them to be able to do that. Truth is, you can't really help kids unless you help families. At best, your ministry and the fruit that comes from it is going to be limited if you ignore the family. And from time to time, you're going to run up against a crisis. Like, it just will happen. Hard stuff like self-harm, abuse, drugs and alcohol, teen pregnancy, attempts to take their own lives. Like, I've walked with families through all of these things through the years. So don't go it alone. Don't try to solve it all by yourself. Take the lead on it, but feel free to consult the senior pastor's office for help. Know when to refer up and when situations are really serious that you should just pass it on. It's a little beyond you. And at minimum, you should always inform your pastor of what's happening and what you're doing. He'll be super grateful, and he'll be able to help and provide counsel as he sees fit. Now, on the lighter side of this, you can handle families wisely by making sure that time is just your friend and not your enemy. I believe, as most of you do, that longevity in next-gen ministry is really, really important. We need, in fact, more fathers and mothers in next-gen ministry. Nothing against those of you guys who are younger. I love it. Thank God for you. I believe in you. But we want you to grow up to be mothers and fathers who stay put and disciple kids and students with increasing wisdom and grace for the long haul. So, use time to gain authority in your life. Let time give you gray hairs of wisdom. Grow with families in the church. And as you do, think about adjusting your lifestyle, your hair, your wardrobe as you get older. Look your age and act your age. Don't follow every clothing trend that comes along. Learn something from the trends. Apply that in some way loosely to your style if you want to. Some of you don't care about this at all, but some of you care too much about this. Here's the deal, though. Nobody wants to see us dressing like teenagers as we get older, and parents sure don't want to see it. So let yourself mature from the young man or young woman that's hanging out with all the kids to become the older brother or the older sister, to then the crazy uncle or the wild aunt, and then finally into the father and mother who's helping train and disciple. Hire then and recruit other young leaders to hang out more with the kids and stay out late with them and not you. Now, I'm not suggesting that you remove yourself from relationships with students. I'm just saying that all of your time and all of your life and even your wardrobe should adjust as you get older. And finally, for today, commandment number 5, always use chain of command solutions. You should always be mindful of the chain of command structures that exist around you. I'm just telling you, it's really going to help you in the long run. In the church, there's a chain of command. There should be. If there's not, well, let's maybe work on that too. Probably something like some overseers or a board, and then your lead pastor, and then maybe an executive pastor, then you've got the staff, and then you've got the volunteer leaders, and so on. Those structures are really helpful, and you should absolutely use them. One way to do that is to make sure that praise always flows down and complaints always flow up. Whenever you receive praise for something that you did, pass it down to your team. They say, oh man, you did such a great job on that event. Oh, that was so cool how that happened. Pass it down to the volunteers who served with you. Like, hand it over to them. And whenever you have a complaint about something that you don't like in your church, send that complaint up to somebody who can actually help do something about it. Complaints should never go down to somebody that's below you in the chain of command. That's a violation, and that's going to get you in a lot of trouble. And in fact, in some cases, that can even get you let go from the job. So send it up. You have a concern, you got an issue, send it up. Hopefully, you have or are developing a culture where that can happen in your church. And make sure that you don't just jump over somebody in the chain to get something done that you want done because somebody is not going along with it like you want them to. That never ends well. Be patient, let the chain of command do the work. In the same way, coach your kids and students to use chain of command solutions in their own lives. Help them understand authority. If you help them understand authority, it's one of the greatest things that you can do and one of the greatest gifts that you can give to parents. I've always taught teenagers that they can be the best advocates for their own independence just by simply obeying and trusting their parents. They all seem to think that the way to their own independence is through doing their own thing. I just want to do my thing, mom and dad don't boss me around, and then I'll be independent. No, it's actually through proving that you understand authority, that you're responsible, and you can actually obey. That's what grants you more independence and freedom because your parents learned that they can trust you. So teach kids and students how to deal with parents and understand authority structures and the chain of command. If you'll do that, parents are going to trust you, and it'll really help. And as you model the chain of command structures in your own life, help young people see the other chain of command structures in their lives and how to use them. Help them genuinely understand authority. The home is the primary thing that you've got to pay attention to. But also teach them about the church and how that functions, how pastors and how you function in their life, and the authority role that you play. Teach them how teachers and coaches work and what authority they have, and even police and government authority structures. You'll help set kids and students up for success in their life if you can model and teach all of this stuff well. And you'll win in your own church by always considering the chain of command. All right, there you have it. The first 5 of the 10 commandments for next-gen leaders. Here they are again. Be a team player, be a model worth following, be well-informed, handle families in the church wisely, and always use chain of command solutions. If you'll implement these, I really do believe they're going to help you. Hey, I just want to say thanks for riding along with me on this podcast journey so far, and thanks for all your kind words and for some of the 5-star reviews. That's been really awesome. Here's one from Nicole. There's absolutely no one I'd rather learn from on this subject. Longevity, humility, resilience, using advice, simple to apply, short episodes make it so shareable even for busy teams. Nicole, that's awesome. Thank you so much. That's my hope, that it's good enough and short enough that you can share it with your team. It'll make you all better and will make a dent and help you win in Next Gen ministry. If this was helpful to you and you think it's worthy of a 5-star review, please do that. Drop a comment, leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. All that stuff really helps. And then think about somebody today that you could share it with, any Next Gen leader in your life that you know and you think might make them better. Hey, if you want to talk, you can always email me at brent@brentparsley.me, or you can DM me at brentparsley on Instagram. I'd love to talk, and I would really love to hear what you're going through and what you'd like to talk about on the podcast. That would help me help you. I think that's it, everybody. Until next time, I hope that today really helps you win in Next Gen ministry.